Alright, we're now going to continue with part 2 of my N64 collection, the 2016 edition of it. And we left off at the end of the last part with Snowboard Kids. So, continuing on now, we have F1 World Grand Prix. And this one's a F1 racing game. I'm not really too big of a fan of F1 myself, but my dad's a big fan of it, and I have played this game, and it's okay. And not sure if anyone on YouTube here is an F1 fan, but if you are and you want to try this game, I'm not going to stop you. Alright, next up we have Indy Racing 2000. This, of course, this is another racing game, but it's based off the IndyCar racing series. And I played this one too, and it's pretty good. The only thing about this game, though, is that some of the drivers and tracks are from real-life IndyCar racing, at least the time this game came out, are missing from this game, but that's alright. I think the reason some of the tracks are probably missing from this version is from this game is because this is on an N64 cartridge. Now, I'm not sure if this game is available on PlayStation 1 or not, but if it is, they would probably be more likely to be able to include all the drivers and tracks on that version, assuming that the PS1 version of this game exists. Alright, and next up is an awesome N64 game. Super Smash Brothers! Yep. This was the game that started the Super Smash Brothers series. And this is a really popular series, too. And of course, on the label here, we've got Mario, we've got Pikachu, and we've got Samus, I think. I can't really see because it's covered up by the N6 by the Player's Choice logo. But this is an awesome game. Would I recommend this for the N64? Absolutely. And a couple of the Pokemon characters are in this game. Pikachu being one, and Jigglypuff being the other one. Of course, there's also Mario, Luigi, Yoshi, and other Nintendo characters in this. They have a new Mario Kart game, not Mario Kart, probably Super Smash Bros. Game out right now, actually, for both the 3DS and the Wii U, but I do not have that as of yet. And then next up, we've got a basketball game, NBA Jam 99. And any NBA Jam game is usually pretty fun. But I kind of like the classic NBA Jam a lot better than this. But it's still a really fun series. NBA Jam. And then we've got EA Sports Madden 2001, another football game. And when it comes to football, there's no doubt that Madden is king. In fact, they're still making Madden games to this day. I think the next one for the new NFL season comes out, for the 2016 NFL season comes out in August. Not sure if I'm going to get that one. As of right now, I think I might, but the only problem, though, is I think that one's probably only going to be available on Xbox One and PS4, and I do not have any of those consoles right now, so that would be a problem. But this is still pretty fun. I enjoy Madden games. Next up, we have EA Sports Supercross 2000. It's a Supercross racing game. There's pretty much all the tracks from the Supercross season for 2000 are in this. Like, there's Anaheim, there's some Texas tracks, and I think there's a couple of others in here too. But if you like Supercross, then I would definitely recommend this game. And then next up, we have Donkey Kong 64, which is pretty much your N64 version of Donkey Kong Country from the Super Nintendo. I do plan to get Donkey Kong Country for Super Nintendo at some point. I'm just not sure when, though. But, and what's pretty neat about this is it's got the yellow cartridge. I think this is the only variant, the only color this cartridge is available, and I don't think there's a regular gray cartridge version for this. But this game, you just collect a whole bunch of bananas to try to get to the boss. That's really all this game is, but it's still a lot of fun. Then we've got Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. It's a racing game with all the Star Wars characters, like Anakin Skywalker and a few others. Again, I'm not really that familiar with all the Star Wars characters, so you'll have to forgive me. But it is still a pretty cool game. In fact, when this game actually came out, they actually released a Nintendo 64 bundle that had this game packed in. Next is 1080 Snowboarding, a snowboarding game, and I have played this one, but unfortunately I am not that good at it. Mainly because I don't snowboard at all. But I still like playing it. It's still pretty fun. And in this game you can do a whole bunch of cool tricks and score a lot of points. So this is definitely a fun game here. Alright, next up we've got Madden 99. And of course, John Madden himself is on the cover of this. And it's made by EA Sports. They usually put out some great stuff. But yeah, Madden 99, it's alright. I believe these Madden games were also available on the PlayStation 1 during the late 90s. And they also had some Madden games on Super Nintendo, so if you want to really go old school, you can check those out. Okay. The next one is Top Gear Overdrive. This one I've played, but I'm not really sure what you're supposed to do in this particular game. But look at those teeth on the label here. Isn't that neat? Yeah. But this is a racing game, though. It's a racing game. But I haven't really played this one too much, so I've no idea what's supposed to be done in this, but oh well, it's still alright. And then we've got one that's based on a classic arcade game, Space Invaders. And I've played this version of Space Invaders, and it's okay, but I think the classic arcade version is a lot better. And that, folks, is what we call an opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I mean, I think pretty much everyone will agree that the arcade version of Space Invaders is probably the best one, but if you like this version, then that's fine too. Nothing wrong with that. And then next we've got Automobile Lamborghini, another racing game. And judging from the way it's pronounced, I think this game takes place in Italy, but I'm not sure exactly. But it's an alright game. I mean, I have played it and it's alright. And then next we have San Francisco Rush Extreme Racing. Now this is a really cool game. I think Brandon Plumley has played this game before. And it's really neat. And of course it says Extreme Racing on the title there for a reason. Because you go incredibly fast, but there's also the risk of getting into some accidents, so you kind of got to be careful. But it's still a really fun racing game. And then we've got another racing game here, but this one takes place in the water, and this was actually one of the first N64 releases, Wave Race 64. And the thing about this game, there's actually no end credits on this game. No, like, but it is still pretty fun. Like, you can do easy, normal, or actually no, I think the easy difficulty of this is just normal. There is a hard difficulty on this though. I don't think I've tried it on the hard setting. But anyway, it's a pretty fun game. And then we've got EmRC, Multi-Racing Championship. I'm not sure exactly what they mean by that, but it's still... But it is a racing game, and I like racing games, so it's alright. And then we've got Cruisin Exotica. And this one, the third and final game in the N64 Cruisin trilogy. But this one, though, is the hardest out of all of them. This one, though, is the hardest out of all of them. Now, Cruisin USA was pretty hard, but this one was pretty hard, where you had... But this one's even more difficult. Like, in this game, like on this Cruisin game, not only do you have to come first on every track to advance to the next, on a track to advance to the next one, but they felt it necessary to put a life system in this. Meaning you only had a certain number of lives in which to get through all the tracks. And if you use them all up, before you made it to the last track, game over. So, like on this game, not finishing a position that's not first loses a life. That is like really unfair. So that makes beating this game pretty much almost impossible to do. Then we've got Toy Story 2. I have played this game, but I haven't really gotten that far in it. Now, GreatBuy789 owns this game, but he has it for the PlayStation 1. And he also has a Let's Play of this for the PlayStation 1, I think. So I'm probably going to have to check that out to see if that'll help me that will help me to complete this game. And then this is another... And then this one's a fun one. It's part of a really fun series that I like. It's Mario Party 2. Now, in this one you get to wear all kinds of cool costumes and everything. Travel to different theme parks. Like, for example, on this game you've got 6 map boards. You've got Pirate Land, Western Land, Space Land, Mystery Land, and Horror Land. And then once you complete all those, you get to play Bowser Land. And then once you do that, then that completes the story mode. But you can still play the boards. But even after you finish the story, you can still play these the boards as many times as you want. And yeah, so Mario Party 2. It's a really fun game. I enjoy this. And this game, by the way, is going to be in my N64 20th anniversary special later this year. Just so you know. Alright, that's it for part 2. Part 3 is going to come up in a moment, so stay tuned.